In 2026, a story moved quickly. It claimed Uganda's president had appointed his daughter as governor of the central bank. And that story spread quickly because it sounded familiar, not proven, just familiar. And that distinction matters because today's episode is not about gossip. It's about who controls African political narratives, who gets to define African democracy, and how power is actually exercised, not imagined. We're going to do three things clearly: correct a rumor, fully explain who's in Uganda's first family and actually holds public roles, and ask the real question Africans should be asking. Has this long reign been effective, and effective for whom? Africa doesn't outsource democracy. We practice it on our own terms. And remember, if you want more Africa First stories the Western media ignores, hit subscribe. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand Uganda's power structure and what African democracy really means.
Members of Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni in his government. 1. Janet Museveni, Minister of Education and a wife to the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. 2. Muhoozi Kainerugaba. He is the Chief of Uganda's Defense Forces and son to the President of Uganda. 3. Salim Saleh. Saleh is Presidential Advisor, former Minister and a brother to Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. 4. Bright Ramirama. Bright is a cousin to the President who serves as the Minister for Animal Industry. 5. Shedrack Nzere is a stepbrother to President Museveni who serves as the Senior Presidential Advisor on Defense. 6. Miriam Karugaba. She serves as an administrator at the State House and is the sister-in-law to Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. 7. Sabit Muzei, the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, is a cousin to the President of Uganda. 8. James Katera is a military commander and a cousin to the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni. 9. Faith Mirembe, Private Secretary in Education and Social Services, and is a cousin to President Museveni. 10. Sam Kutesa. Kutesa is the former Minister of Foreign Affairs and the father-in-law of Museveni's son, Muhoozi. 11. Alan Masiko is a Director of Special Forces Command's Intelligence and a husband to Sam Kutesa's daughter, the father-in-law of General Muhoozi, the first son. 12. Jim Muhwezi. Muhwezi is the Minister for National Security and a cousin of Museveni's wife, Janet Kataha Museveni. 13. Susan Muhwezi. She is Presidential Assistant of the African Growth Opportunity Act, who is a cousin of Museveni's wife. 14. John Karazare. He's the cousin to the President Museveni's wife and a senior presidential advisor on local government. 15. Henry Tumukunde. He's the former senior military officer who married a cousin of Museveni's wife. 16. Moses Byarruhanga. He's a senior presidential advisor and married a cousin of Museveni's wife. 17. Hope Nyakiru. Nyakiru is Undersecretary for Finance and Administration at the State House and a cousin of Museveni's wife. 18. Jolly Sabune. She is Managing Director, Cotton Development Authority and a cousin of Museveni's wife. 19. Natasha Museveni Karogire. He is a Presidential Assistant in charge of Household at State House and a President Museveni's daughter. 20. Odrek Rabogo. Rabogo is a Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Duties. He is Museveni's son-in-law. 21. Alice Kaboyo. She is a State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister for the Ruwelo Triangle and Rwenzori region. 22. Joseph Ekwa. Ekwa is a Presidential Advisor on veterinary issues, who is a nephew to the President. 23. Richard Kabonero. Kabonero is the head of Department of Regional Economic Cooperation, who is a cousin of Museveni's wife.
Uganda did not emerge from calm. Before 1986, the country endured coups, regime collapse, and state violence. That history has shaped what came next. When Yoweri Museveni took power in 1986, the priority was not ideology, it was state survival. And over time, Uganda entered a long governing era built on security consolidation, centralized authority, continuity over rotation, and internal trust over external approval. That approach has produced stability, but it's also produced longevity, and longevity changes the question citizens ask. Not can the state function, but how well is it functioning and for whom? Stability answers yesterday's problems, and effectiveness answers today's. So let's correct the January 2026 claim on record. Uganda's president is Yoweri Museveni, in office since 1986. His wife is Janet Museveni, is First Lady and a long-serving public official. She currently serves as Minister of Education and Sports, responsible for national education and youth development through formal government structures. And their son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, is a senior officer in the Uganda People's Defense Forces. He's the son of the president and has held senior command roles, including commander of land forces and formal military training. And he's the brother of Natasha Kudigiri and Patience Rawabogo and Diane Kamunto. None of these daughters hold positions in Uganda's central government. And now the key corrections, right? So no, Museveni's daughter has not, or no Museveni, none of Museveni's daughter, have ever been appointed governor of the Central Bank of Uganda. The governor of the Bank of Uganda is Michael Ntingi Igo and remains in office as of January 2026. So the viral claim was false. African power doesn't need exaggeration. Reality is already strong enough, right? So now here's where the conversation usually goes wrong. African democracy is always measured against someone else's ruler, but democracy is not a single format. It's a system of accountability, consent, and legitimacy expressed differently across societies. And Africa is allowed to decide how leadership rotates, how trust is structured, how authority is transferred, right? Europe does it through dynasties dressed as institutions, and the Gulf does it through families openly, and Africa does not need permission to do either. The real question is not, does Uganda look like someone else's democracy? The question is, does Uganda's system deliver outcomes its people recognize as legitimate? That's the African question and not an imported one. But it's funny how democracy only has one definition when Africans practice it, right? So now let's ask the hard but fair question. After nearly 4 decades of continuity, what has Uganda gained and what remains unresolved, right? So the gains are national territorial stability, institutional survival, regional military relevance, and long-term policy consistency, infrastructure expansion, right? Uganda did not fragment, it didn't collapse, it remained governable. And that is something to highlight because it matters. So now let's talk about the ongoing challenges, right? Youth unemployment and demographic pressure, political competition constrained by longevity, succession clarity unresolved, or perceptions of stagnation among younger generations. So this does not mean the system has failed. It means the metrics have changed. And what once solved instability must now answer effectiveness, inclusion, and opportunity. So winning yesterday's war doesn't guarantee tomorrow's peace. Uganda's future is not about erasing its past, it's about transitioning deliberately, not reactively. So the next chapter will be defined by generational inclusion, institutional resilience beyond individuals, clarity and leadership succession, and continued national cohesion. Africa has seen what unmanaged transitions look like, right? Uganda's task now is to show how continuity evolves without collapse. So here's the truth stated plainly, right? The rumor was false, the family roles are real, and African democracy is not up for external grading. The only real measure is effectiveness and whether the next generation inherits a stronger state. So, mashallah, that's your African Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm Mr.EmpowerTV. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. This is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.